Okay.
This is Community Board 2 Manhattan, the Landmarks Committee, the meeting for the month of March. And we have a quorum. We have 3 applications this evening. I believe we have new people all around, so I'll say just a few words. We have the presentation, then questions from the board and questions from the public. And then at the end of the 3 presentations, we'll have an executive meeting to form the resolutions, and you're welcome to stay, but only members of the committee and those invited may speak at that time. I believe that's all we actually need for this meeting. The first application is 5 East 10th Street to restore the front facade, replace windows throughout, and modify certain rear windows, and remove the rear facade louvers and restore opening and construct a rooftop addition with elevator and stair bulkhead. Okay, are you going to move the people to the table?
Okay.
It's just important to be sure to get a really
Oh,
good.
there's 2 of you?
Thank you.
I can move over one.
Thank you so much.
No, I think I can make it. All right. Am I screen share?
Let's see, what is your name?
So Teresa Ball. Let's see. There it is. Bottom. No. Oh, Teresa Ball.
Sorry.
Yeah, no.
There
There we go.
There you are.
This is 5 East 10th?
Yes.
Correct. Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. I'm Teresa Ball. This is Gary Lynn, and we're with Baird Architects. And I will share my screen and we'll flip you through the work that we're doing at 5%. All right, so this is, oh, here we go, 1 second.
Now getting, okay.
Okay. Let's go to the front. Can you see okay? All right, great. This is the property that we're renovating. This was actually built as a pair with the house on the left, 3 East 10th, 1890 Romanesque brick townhouse by George Harney. And the front facade is mostly, we're working with Landmarks to restore windows to their original conditions. Later on, you'll see there's a really nice stained glass window on the ground floor that we're restoring. And I believe the 3 primary things that we're here to talk to you about today are this 5th floor window up top, the elevator bulkhead, and then the rear yard glazing. So I'm going to go through those. These are the 1940s tax photos. The next page I'll show you, oh yeah, this is our landmark district. And here's the current condition of the front facade. And here are, so on the left is the drawing of the existing front elevation. On the right is the drawing of the proposed. And I will get more specific about the windows here. So you'll see this 5th floor, floor portion it was present when this building was designated, but it was not original to the building. And so we are proposing 2 things. One is to actually restore this brick detailing that you see, or this sort of pattern around the edge. And 2, so you see on the left, these are the existing windows. So these windows are not in the original configuration for this addition that you can see in the 1940s tax photo. So we are proposing to replace these, but we would like to replace them with a slightly different set of divisions. You can see in the tax photo here that there were 5 sets of windows with a transom on top. And so our hope is to do 4 sets of casement windows to sort of simplify this, and it reduces the chunky framing that happens when you add continued divisions. So what we're proposing is to is to restore it to what you see here in the upper right. So that's one portion of this application. Next, I'm going to talk you through the bulkhead, and these pictures will get bigger on the next page. So these are the visibility slides for the bulkhead, and you can see that here, see where my cursor is? This is the mock-up seen from the west. This is the mock-up seen from straight in front, so there's no visibility from directly in front of the building. It's behind the line of vision. And then this is the bulkhead seen from the east, but we'll build them up in the next page. Here, there is, you can see on the map here, there is some street visibility to the inside of the donut from 11th Street, but our building is not visible. So what you're seeing there in that sliver is the neighbor building, number 3.
Are these mock-ups?
Yeah, yeah. So down here, you see
Can't
bottom
see
right.
them. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like a line
Well-
drawing.
So down in the bottom right is a photo of the mock-up from the roof level. But let me show them to you larger. I think this will help a little bit. So here you see on the left is the mock-up photo. In the middle is rendered, the material of this proposed bulkhead is naturally weathering copper. So something that will patina over time and we feel like is in keeping with the surrounding neighborhood and materials. You do notice that in this view, it's visible, but it is visible along with sort of other roof pop-ups and different buildings you see in the skyline. This is from the other direction.
Oh, excuse me, I'm going to rely on you all in the room because I can't see. So if you have anything while the slides are up, say so. About the visibility. Okay, please continue.
Okay, great. So this is looking at it from the other side, and you see that there is this neighboring building in the back. But on the left is the mock-up, and then in the middle is the rendering. So we see it with that material, this sort of naturally weathering copper there. And this is a diagrammatic section of the building showing the bulkhead that comes up. And it's really only the top of the elevator bulkhead that's protruding. The rest of the stair bulkhead is totally invisible. Here's a plan, and you see here, this square here is the portion that you can see.
And how far is this bulkhead from the front of the building?
It is,
Setback about 18 feet
Yeah.
from the facade.
yeah, about 18 feet, and if you heard Gary there, about 18 feet from the front facade. And here you can see this explains what the protrusion is, the hoist beam up top, and the required clearance up there.
And could you please say the dimensions of the enclosure?
Absolutely. Let me go to the plan. So I'm gonna zoom in here. Let's zoom in. All right.
Did you just mention the height of the elevator bulkhead above the roof?
I can give that to you also. So in plan, this is 7 feet by 7 feet. Setback,
That's the part, that's what sticks up that we see.
correct.
See.
And then that is set back 19 feet, 1 1/4 inch from the front facade. Now let me give you the height.
From the roof, it's 12 feet 6 inches.
And from
From
the bulkhead,
street, or from the,
so from the roof, the top of this is 12 feet 6 inches.
sorry, from the bulkhead is 12 feet.
So that's from the roof of the stair bulkhead.
Yes.
And I can show you. So that part, let me just draw on this. That's the dimension that Gary just gave, the 12 feet 6 inches is from here to here. Yeah, I was going through all three, but I certainly take questions individually about each of these three, if you prefer.
No, you can keep going, and if we have questions, we'll ask. But if we need the immediate answer, otherwise we'll talk to you.
Okay, great.
Thanks.
Okay, so this is the existing rear condition of this building. And we have, you see it's twin over here, number 3, which has been renovated. So this is there's a bay window here that was not original to the building that we are proposing to remove. And then there's a shed here that is within the 30-foot setback that we are also proposing to remove. And so the plan here, these are details that show that the bay window was added, and there was in fact a lintel and some punched openings. And this is the shed here, and it shows in the survey that's within the 30-foot setback. So that's just going to come out. And so the intention with this, with our design for the rear elevation, I'm just going to speed back to the elevation line drawings. Oh.
You go forward to the rear.
Yeah. So this left drawing are the existing conditions, and the right drawing is showing our proposed window in the bottom 2 floors. And what's happening is this is a double height space in the plan. So I'm going to show you the section here. So here you see, this is the entry stoop. You come up, and this is the entry level, and then this is a double height space where you walk out at the garden level. And so the goal is to have a window that expresses the double height space. And our intent is to remove these existing portions of the back that are also not in great condition, and put in something that is clearly new. And so we're being very, very intentional about restoring what's old and then making a contemporary insertion that expresses the interior condition. And this is showing the context of that rear yard as it is currently. This upper left is the neighboring building, is 3. And then here you see the one across the way from us, which has quite a contemporary rear addition. And we're sort of going around the donut here. You turn, and on the bottom is our neighbor on the other side, which is an existing non-conforming condition where they have a structure in their rear yard. And those are those elevations again. And again, we're working with landmarks on all of the top windows to kind of restore the original window conditions.
The top window?
The top, so all of the floors above the 2 that we're talking about here at the bottom, all of these double hung windows are getting restored to their original conditions.
Are they wood or?
Yeah,
metal?
they're wood. Yeah. And the bottom windows are metal. These are aluminum. They're actually really amazing. They're operable. So kind of incredible.
How do they
Feat of
operate?
engineering.
I see
They're
the
mechanized.
sliding doors are operable, but you're saying that I didn't see
What are
any
these, like,
indication for
bifold?
the other windows.
Yes, yeah. We put
How are
these little
they-
arrows,
How are they operable then?
so they're mechanized.
Right.
And
Motorized.
They're
So the
motorized.
2 middle sort of slides on either side to kind of nest against a fixed.
yeah, so the outer 2 are fixed lights, and then the center one slide.
So above the sliding doors, what's up there? I mean, what are those operable windows?
All of these, all of the punched openings are operable double hung windows.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm still.
But in the bottom, those are single, so those are full height single, those are 4 panes of glass that make up these.
These are 21 feet tall or
Correct.
not 20 feet tall, 19?
19, yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
that's correct.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. they're
Like a lot of fresh air.
in Switzerland, yeah. Pretty nice. And I
California,
think,
maybe. It's in New York City. I don't know what's gonna come in those doors.
yeah. Yeah, well, let's look at it looks quite nice back there.
Well, I'm talking little critters.
Yes.
That's fair.
And that concludes the summary. We have additional information in the appendix I think, I don't necessarily need to go through it, but I think if it comes up, we're happy to share.
Okay,
We've got
great,
details
thanks.
for the windows.
Clear if those in the room think so.
I don't think we need to, I mean, I saw them earlier today. Does anybody
Okay.
review the appendix?
I don't think
No?
so.
No.
I'll ask questions that may
Okay.
have been answered in the appendix, but that's
All
all
right.
right.
So we'll move on to ask some questions. Chanel, do you have any questions before we go to the room?
I don't.
Okay,
Okay.
Brian?
Well, let me start with the,
Sorry, I do have one. Is this at present a multi-family house? Or
I can't hear you, Chanel.
is this a multifamily house now, or?
It is currently a multifamily house, yes. Yeah.
and will continue to be?
No, it will be a single family.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay, so I noticed that the number 3, West 11th, or East 11th is also under construction. Do you know what's happening to that
Yeah, they're doing also a full gut renovation
for single family?
for a single family, yes.
So they're stuck with this mishmash of big openings and obviously not traditional openings. You don't know if they have plans to change that, do you?
I haven't seen their.
Yeah, I haven't seen
Well,
that.
anyway, so I would say that I'm curious about let's see, that would be the second floor rear windows that got changed over the years and had
Mhm.
various, movements or relocating or something like. But it seems like you're putting windows in that are going to be at least balanced and look like the traditional or the original windows. So the upper part, I'm fine with. And the lower area, well, as you show, there's huge glass areas directly across or nearly directly across. So it's hardly something that's new to the donut. And yours is even more subdued than those. So let's see, I noticed you had indicated under the stoop that there is vaulting under the sidewalk. That seemed unusual, but is that still part of the property?
Yeah, it's currently being used as sort of mechanical space. So we're just updating sort of equipment in there and not really doing.
But it might just be the vault for the utility.
Yeah, it's for the,
It's not like Soho.
Oh, like the sidewalk, you mean just like the
Under the-
mechanical space
yeah.
under the sidewalk? Yeah.
Is there anything a part of this application except the window at the top floor?
On the front facade, the window at the top floor is the only thing that is not landmark staff level.
So the stained glass is landmark staff level.
Correct.
yeah.
Yeah, that's all restoration.
What was the name of your firm?
Baird Architects.
I'm sorry.
Baird Architects.
It's
Fair.
Baird, yeah, we were Matthew
Yeah.
Baird Architects, and we have, we're now doing business as Baird Architects. More expensive.
Anita, do you have any questions?
Well, I think it's all very clear and logical, so I like that. I totally don't understand why anyone would want those windows. I swear to God, it is not a California climate. It looks weird. They'll never open it. It'll be curtained, but have at it. What can I say? I mean, I think that's not why you buy a historic home. So I've said my piece.
It is a beautiful front facade.
Yeah, it is, and I love all the ins and outs. I don't mind the casements up top. I actually like the proportions better of the lights, so I think that's
I
good.
passed there yesterday and there's a duplicate of these two with the two different bay windows above the block. It's amazing.
It's a beautiful.
Wow.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm still where I was before. I did not hear clearly if this is at the present a one-family house.
It is not, it is presently a multifamily.
we just take note of that. We don't do anything about it, but
And am I correct in understanding that the visible part of what you have mocked up just represents the elevator shaft?
Correct.
Correct. The
Okay.
whole thing was mocked up, but the only part that
That's
ends up being
visible.
visible is just.
I
the
just want to
top.
confirm that.
That's
Yeah,
correct.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anybody from the public here who wishes to speak on this application? If so, please raise your hand. I don't see any hands.
Any excavation of the garden or the cellar area?
No.
Okay, then, I think we're done.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you for
much
such a
for your
clear
time.
presentation.
Great,
We
thank
always
you for your
appreciate
time.
that.
Yeah, I will get.
I wasn't planning on promoting people because I thought Eugene was going to be here, but he is
I did
not.
too.
So give me a minute while I find the spreadsheet.
Okay, you carry on and I'll read the application.
Okay.
94 Bank Street, the application is to excavate the rear yard, demolish the rear facade, construct horizontal and vertical extensions, and renovate the front facade.
That is Bank Street. Bank Street is
I like it. This is
Alexander Blakely.
nice.
I don't know if we should start.
Okay, great. We are good to go.
Hi, this is Alexander Blakely from AV Architects. I'm
Thank
sitting
you.
here
you.
with Soko Fernandez, also from AV Architects, and we are representing a client who is also here, I believe present, Mark O'Brien, who represents, is a representative of the owner of the building who is not present, I believe. So this building, this house is at 94 Bank Street, which is in R72 zoning. We are proposing to renovate and restore the front of the building, add a penthouse addition to the top, and horizontally extend into the rear yard, as well as at the cellar level into the rear yard. What are we looking at here, Sean? Okay, so you can see our position on the block here. We have demonstrated in the drawings and photos here that we're trying to be, and I think we are, minimally visible from street view, that being from primarily visible only from Greenwich Street. Where's the view shed there? Forward to the, and a little bit visible from Bank Street, right? So partially visible. It looks like we're a little bit over 1 foot visible, which is the criterion for being minimally visible.
Talking about the rooftop addition?
Yes, rooftop addition, sorry. And so I don't think there's, well, hopefully not that much contentious with what we're presenting with the front of the building, but then we are showing an addition in the rear into the so-called donut, which does in fact step a little bit forward of, or proud of, the plane of the buildings at 96 and 92 Bank Street, but is at the top of this donut facing into the long side of the donut of the block.
Excuse me, are you giving a a list of things you're going to talk about? Or are you giving the details now? I'm not clear.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I should start with the list of what we're going to talk about. So we're talking about
That's fine.
an addition up to the top of the building and an extension to the back side of the building after removing the existing facade. And the first item we spoke about was
Okay.
the visibility of that penthouse from the public way at Bank Street and Greenwich Street. So our goal is to stay in keeping with the historic character of this 1939 built Greek revival.
1939, you just said.
1839, what did I say?
Yeah.
You said 1939.
Sorry,
Yeah.
1839. 1839 Greek revival, with some nice detailing on the front of the facade or the front, which we would actually restore and introduce what were probably the original details, being 6/6 grills, similar to what was done at 92 Bank Street, that you see on the left. Well, on the left
Sorry.
of the photo. Can we roll over that?
Yeah.
Here. Incidentally, they also have added to the roof a penthouse addition, which is very similar in bulk and height and position on the roof. And you'll see that from the perspectives, which we will show in a minute. It also so happens that at 96 Bank Street, they are also adding a penthouse, which has been approved. Its bulk also resembles, for the most part, what we're presenting. Where is that visible? Can you show the?
Not the one that has been approved. It's just
No,
kind
it's
of.
From the diagrams from
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
right. Go to the next, sorry. That's the rear, yeah, right.
Yes.
So, so
Sorry,
they have, so
Have you finished the front now?
I'm sorry,
Have you finished the front?
we have not. Oh, yes, we have finished talking about the front.
Okay, I'm not clear what you're doing.
We are talking about the rooftop addition, the penthouse that will be occupied with space with a roof
I'm
turret.
talking
back
about
on-
the
on
front
the back.
facade. Have you
Oh, okay, sorry.
finished presenting the front facade?
Let's go back to it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, excuse me for a moment. Hi, I'm Susan. I'm the vice chair of the committee. I think we're all having a hard time following your presentation, which seems to be jumping around a bit from the front to the top to here to there. It's not, so I'm
Well-
asking if you could please be very clear and specific in your presentation and keep each topic to each topic. So each aspect to each aspect. So the rooftop addition, the front facade, the rear demolition, the rear addition, if you can keep it kind of tight so that we can follow the narrative through line here, because so far, I don't think any of us is really with you on that narrative through line, and we'd like to be.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so what I want to do first is give an overview, and I think we stated, and I will say again, that we are restoring to the original historic character the front of the building, the street facade. We are adding to the top of this building
Just have the scope. We'd just like to know details of each section,
Okay, well, I'm going to get into the details. Okay, so the details of the front
please.
the facade are, we are adding windows, we are adding grills to those windows. They would be, the proposal is to do them in aluminum clad wood. We are maintaining the color of the building, which is presently pink, which the owner is fond of. We would, at the base of the building, restore the brownstone that you see here in the photo. We would refurbish and paint the steel guardrail here that you see at the base of the building.
That's not part of our approval, though. I mean, painting the railing.
Okay, well,
Just before you move on, the windows, tell me what you said about the windows?
we want to replace the windows with aluminum clad wood windows with 6/6 true pane grills.
And why would you not do them in wood? So that's part of your application, I guess.
We could do them in wood. It's just a maintenance issue. If wood is preferred, that's not a problem.
Yes, thank you. Okay.
Okay, noted. The door would also be restored. That's about it for the front facade that I can.
The only thing we'll see different is new windows and grills on is at the ground floor.
It's all the windows
All-
at the front, yeah.
All of the windows, yes, I'm sorry. That's all the intention is to really restore what's visible now.
The new grills are on which floor?
All 3 floors.
Grills, window grills, like security grills?
No, the muntins, I should say.
Oh, lights, divided lights.
That's right. So, which presently are not installed right now. But you can see them. I was referring to 92 Bank Street to the left in the photo, where they've done the same there. And this was a recommendation also by staff.
Do you have window details or anything?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
You have that in here?
None in this presentation.
Oh, we don't? Okay.
Should we?
Do you want us to bring up window details? We can show those as well, but they weren't a subject of this presentation.
Well, you're asking for aluminum clad wood windows. That needs permission, I believe.
Okay.
So if you go with wood, that's good. Then we don't need to see anything.
Well, then let's go with wood, I think.
I like that.
I
Good.
think we're going to recommend the wood, so
Okay.
But also, these are not the snap-in grills. That's all. I'm also just want to make sure we're clear with our
No,
language.
I want to be clear, the grills are at the ground floor. Is that?
No grills. He's talking about divided lights
Oh,
Yes.
and no snap-in grills. I mean, these are like, they're not true lights, but they're true simulated lights.
true stimulated.
Divided lights, thank you.
They would be, correct me if I'm wrong with your, with your acceptance of that sort of detail, but I believe what's accepted is applied muntins.
No.
So the other way to go is then true panes.
okay,
Well,
let's
they're
just hear what's
divided.
proposed, and then we'll sort out our recommendations.
Okay, very good. We keep going.
Okay. Let's move to the rear of the building.
Okay.
So what you see at the left of the drawing or the page here is the existing conditions, which are a brick facade, which has been painted at some point white.
Mm.
To the left or west of our building is an extension that was done at 96 Bank Street in a slightly modern, I would say, style, which projects how many feet? Like 6 feet,
It's about, yeah, 5-ish, 6.
5 or 6 feet.
International stuff.
Ish.
There is
Just to be clearer for us, if you would finish what you're doing to your building and then show comparables that are similar that
Okay.
you use and support.
Sorry about that. Okay, so what we're proposing is to remove this rear facade and expand the floor plate south or into the top of the donut, as you call it. And that, I think, is clearly visible from these two perspectives, which we have up now. I don't know if it's, okay, so the reason why we're doing this is because we want to expand the floor plate, make it more usable. The owner wanted to install, I don't know if this detail is interesting for you, but we want, can you show the plan? We want to add a elevator to help with her mobility. And also effectively raise the rear yard so that it's level with the parlor level so that one can walk out without having to go down a stair. And that can be seen from this
Oh,
section.
that's a lot of fill.
From a zoning perspective, and I know that's part of the criteria, we are allowed as of right, but we are aware that this would be deemed, what did Fred and Jared say? It was a little bit aggressive in the sense that we are extending the rear beyond the plane of the windows at 90, or the plane of the rear of the building at 92 Bank Street. But we will show, after we show what we're doing here, what they've done on properties adjacent to us and in the immediate vicinity within this donut here. So in addition to extending that the building in the rear over the 3 stories, as I said, the cellar level.
So could we finish a couple of questions on that?
sorry.
Hard to interrupt, but we need to get a clearer picture as we go. What is the distance from the rear wall to be demolished to the back of the extension? How far does it extend?
The extension varies slightly. I think it's 8 feet in total.
The floor plan, the footprint of it.
Right, that's what
The
I.
new or the old? Chenault? You mean the new one?
Then how far, what is the distance from the existing back wall to the back wall of the extension?
Yeah, I think what you're
The
saying.
new
Where
extension.
the fireplace is there.
Yeah, so you can see at the top of the page, the existing, and then you see what we're proposing.
Basement here.
Sorry. And it varies because it's a very odd shaped lot, but it varies from what, about, you showing that?
Yeah, time.
It varies from 9 feet to 12 feet, 12 feet on the top.
And the rear yard? How much setback do you have there?
The rear yard, we have a setback on the west side of 14.6,
About 15.
about 15 feet, the average.
Okay, I think that's clear.
So we're, obviously we're within 100 feet of the corner, so it's allowed as of zoning, but we're sort of in this wedge. If we show that on the block, the wedge that is at the top of the donut, where one might see typically a full build out of the corner, for example, that you see at the corner of Hudson and Bank Street, the 5-story there. But there's this wedge that we have at our portion of the block, in which should we get into the context? No, not yet. Let's continue with our rear extension here. So the rear extension itself, we're proposing to do a red brick, which we took advisement from your LPC staff members. And you can see the difference on the left is the existing facade. The windows at the right would be larger. I guess the preference now is to do them in wood. We wouldn't mind doing them in steel because it would be smaller profiles, but the shape of it is as we're presenting here in this drawing. Let's move then to the top of the building where we're proposing a penthouse level, which looks like this from the back, from the front, sorry.
Sorry, we've got we're missing things.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Facade elevation.
Let's go back to the south elevation. Take it back.
The windows, it looks like a straight line up from the parlor floor through the next two floors. Is that within the confines of the three windows that exist?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So it's just erasing those windows and filling in.
Exactly. I mean, they are higher than the existing ones, but in terms of the
Right,
width,
yeah, I'm talking about the width.
yeah.
Okay.
You see what he means?
Yes, I think we
Actually, we have a little bit more meat.
we are compressing a little bit in terms of the width.
We have slightly more thickness at either side of the windows.
Okay, thanks.
So it doesn't, it's not what he asked.
Is that okay? Is it preferable to stay at the same width as?
It's general, yeah, it is generally, yes.
Okay,
And we'll talk about the individual floors later.
okay. What else can we say about the rear of the building? So it would be a red full modular brick that we propose in the back. We are also proposing here a small balcony condition, which we can show in the section at the second story above the parlor floor. In terms of bringing green up, this is one of the requirements. We're proposing to bring some planting up onto this slightly elevated terrace in the rear. Planting shown here in section. I think that's it for the rear facade. The third component of the presentation is this penthouse addition that we're showing on the top, which complies in terms of height allowable in a sense that it's, what is it? We're going 43 feet and the allowable is the width of the street, which is 49, but of course, we are confined or constrained more by what's visible from the street, which we touched on earlier is minimally visible, we're arguing. In the rear of the building, in terms of its visibility, we are stepping back approximately 2 feet and then pitching that back wall of the penthouse another 2.5 feet. So the total would be over 4 feet to the top of it. The penthouse we're proposing to clad in a natural zinc, standing zinc roof construction, which would develop over the months and years a natural patina. That's the occupiable space. And then we have, in addition to that, a small mechanical enclosure, unoccupiable, which we're enclosing in a screened enclosure. Where do we have that painted wood? There is a small portion of the penthouse that we're showing towards the front of the building, which is pitched to stay underneath the sight line, which essentially covers the stair going up to that penthouse. I think that's the three major items that we're proposing for this project.
Okay, just to get the notes up to date, the brick on the rear facade, is it a regular shaped brick and size?
Yes, it is.
And the height of the penthouse to the tallest, to the,
The height as measured from the midpoint of the roof for the main massing of the penthouse is about 9'11". The screening for the mechanical units is a little bit higher. It goes up to about 12 feet. But it's a little setback from the front. So those are the two levels that we have there. And that measurement is approximate from the midpoint of the existing roof, which is a little
and from the front, the
midpoint.
front of the building to the, whatever's closest to the front, the covering for the staircase.
Oh, like the distance from the facade? Give me 1 second and I will tell you.
To whatever's closest.
Yeah. It's about 14 feet. 14 to 15 feet. So a little irregular in the,
Okay.
We don't have that sight line shown here.
sorry?
Do we have that sight line shown here?
No. No. Sorry if there's some music in the background. There is someone being loud outside. Okay. We can move on to the mock-up that we made for the rooftop addition.
Yes, let's show that. Or, I'm sorry, do you have any questions pertaining to these three items, or can we move
So
on?
we're okay. Please continue.
Okay.
So we have constructed a mock-up, which we believe to be very accurate. You can see that here close up from the roof. And in the subsequent pages, we have, oh no, sorry, stay here. What are we looking at? Roof 6. Where's the first page?
All right,
Sorry.
here we go.
Okay. Okay, so these are photos that are taken from the street. I think you can see from photo number 3, view from Greenwich Street, which is here on the block where my cursor is. No? Oh, sorry. 3, which is here on Greenwich Street.
Um,
Can you enlarge it so we can see a little better?
Sure, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Just so we can see the thing.
Show the block.
As a summary, we identified that there's only really 2 points from the street from which the mock-up is visible, and it's really just kind of going north on Greenwich, and then we'll talk about going west on Bank Street. We had to wait until winter because it was not visible with full foliage, but as you can see here in the photo, it's bright orange. You can see here in the corner, we are going up north on Greenwich. This would be from number 3, so around this point.
That's really the only place from Greenwich Street that you can see it, right?
Yeah, because at one point you
Just
start
go
going,
to
yeah,
the pictures, we can evaluate them.
yeah. So this is the point at which it is what I think the most visible.
Can you enlarge this picture?
Yes. It's already very zoomed in, but here it is. So what you see here would be at the top of the orange mesh of the front. That's the penthouse. And then the the elevated in the back, sorry, the most elevated part of mock-up in the back, that would be the HVAC screening.
So again, to reiterate, this was only visible during the winter and as you.
We don't count that
You
at
don't-
all.
Sorry.
Okay.
These don't count.
There is two buildings, as you see. I do think you count the fact that there are two buildings in the rear which kind of comprise a background, let's say.
Or we can see what we can see. If we
Right,
can
I get
just see the pictures, we'll make the evaluation.
Gotcha.
Okay, so this is at the point where it is the most visible from Greenwich Street. From other points, once you get out of the area where you can see it, you don't really see any of the bulkheads at this portion of the block. Going up Greenwich, sorry. And then we can take a look at it from Bank Street going to the west. Here you're at the crossing, still not visible. You start going back on Bank Street, you can only see the bulkheads of that building in the corner, but sorry. At a certain point, you can see behind the other bulkhead, it's sorry, it's a little hard to tell. You can see the orange tip of the mock-up. And I can show it in the map, but here it is for now.
So that what we're seeing is just the screen, right?
I think that's just the HVAC
Yeah.
screening, from my understanding of it, yes.
Okay. Does that conclude?
That would be, yes, those are the points from which it is visible. Maybe if you want to zoom into the map a little bit. The ones that we see from the front of the building would be here up in Greenwich. And then the last image I shown is from this point of view, west, at the westernmost point in Bank Street that you can see it from.
Okay, I have a question while we're still on this part of the rooftop.
Yeah.
When we're in the most visible view from Greenwich, can you
Yes.
put that picture for a moment, please?
Yes, I'll go there.
Thank you. And can you explain to us exactly what part of, what exactly are we looking at in that mock-up? Is that an enclosure for the rooftop mechanicals? Is that the penthouse? What exactly are we looking at there?
Let me see if I can highlight it. So, oh,
Thanks.
that's very large. 1 second. So at the end of the orange mesh, which is, oh, still too large, sorry.
Just the arrow's fine. I like that you want to do something fancy, but we don't need it.
So here at the edge of the orange mesh, where I try to highlight, that would be the penthouse massing.
Right.
This lower part, the wood extends a little bit upward, but it's just where the orange mesh ends, which is a little hard to tell.
So sorry to clarify, the wood extends further than what we're proposing would be visible.
Just from the penthouse massing,
Because
correct?
that's confusing, right? Okay.
Yes. So it's just that orange mesh part. That's what I was trying to highlight it.
One is white.
Yeah, that might be a better option.
And the one in front of that, that's the stair?
Here,
Yeah,
That's a chimney.
that's an existing chimney.
orange on the front, the closest to us. What is that?
This portion here,
Yeah,
that is the front face of the penthouse massing, and the stair bulkhead is barely visible. It's much lower. It's just this portion here.
I don't understand that picture.
I'll show it, I'll show the mock-up. So what you can see from the street, it's mainly this part of the mock-up. This edge, the bulkhead of the stair is barely visible, it's not really visible. And then behind it would be the HVAC screening mock-up. And I'll go back to it. Maybe I can put them side to side, but
What is the material for the HVAC screening, please?
That would be, what were we thinking, like a weathered beater was our preference that would sort of blend in or be compatible with the
Weather
petite.
beater?
What's a weather beater?
No, what did I say? Weather beater?
no, cedar.
Cedar, sorry, cedar. I said
A weathered cedar.
weathered cedar, which would turn a gray similar to the patina of the zinc. Weather beater. It is a weather beater, but okay.
That's right. It's a very technical term.
So here I'm trying to show what's under that yellow line would be the front of the penthouse, so not the HVAC screening. And then what you see in the back would be the HVAC screening. So it's 2 levels.
Okay, great. Thank you. That's clarifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks. And then from Bank Street, what are we seeing from the street?
Number 8.
There, I believe that what we're seeing is the mechanical screen.
I believe so, yes. It's a higher point is a mechanical. Here's a mechanical screen.
Okay, so that's the cedar then.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thanks. Is that the entire presentation?
There, that is the entire presentation.
Okay, very good. Thank you. I think we'll have some other questions. Chenault, do you have any other questions?
If so, I'll pick up after everyone else.
Okay, I have a question / comment. I am correct in assuming then that you're completely demolishing the historic fabric of the rear facade, yes?
We are completely demolishing that fabric.
Okay, and so this is, well beyond a standard kind of rear yard addition and into an entire reconstruction. And given that it is, as you earlier said, somebody described it as a kind of aggressive in terms of how much it protrudes, do you have any examples of other, we don't usually see things like this, and I'm wondering if you have any other examples in the district of situations where the entire existing rear facade has been demolished and replaced with such an aggressive intrusion.
Well, our first example would be the one to the left in this photo. So, which was an addition that was added. I'm not sure what the year was that it was added. I don't know whether we were able to track that down.
It was pre-commission, I think.
It
Pre-commission.
looks like it, yeah.
Pre-designation, yeah.
It was probably, yeah.
Okay.
360s, so it's an oldie, but
So
not a goodie.
let's bring up the block plan.
Also, we often have extensions, but they don't go the full height. And I know you have a very tiny building, so I can appreciate that. But somehow it modifies the mass of the original building. You don't allow it to be expressed even on the top floor, where even a small setback would say, oh, this building was actually, this was the original location.
That is true, and one of the considerations was that if we maintain the plane of the top floor, that we wouldn't have much of an area for the penthouse above if we, in addition, had to set that back, which we know is something that you like to see.
Well, sometimes it's just done with smoke and mirrors. It doesn't have to be a significant amount.
Right, and that's why we pitched it back, thinking that that would kind of serve
It
that.
looks like a Queen Anne. It's got that little mansardy look. I don't know. I appreciate that, but I don't know if it is convincing.
Our job is historic preservation. The building was the size it is when it was purchased with the idea of doing something to it. So it is, if you will, a self-inflicted hardship, the size of the building. So what we're trying to do is to bring some semblance of the building to be preserved in the back, rather than just in order to get more room extending it. And that's sort of the whole idea of a historic district and what historic preservation is.
Right. We have seen many examples of extensions in the rear. If you're talking about, and maybe you're not.
We were specifically asking for one that goes the full height of the building.
Right. Do we have any example? Full height of the building, we do not have one on hand.
And the reason we ask is that it is, I don't recall one ever being approved since for 15 years. And that's why it's so, if you will, jarring. Another question is, with that building that unusually their side windows and extension, do you stay clear of those with I didn't see a drawing that illustrates that.
You're talking about the side windows of the adjacent property?
Yes. Are you staying clear of those windows?
No. This one's right.
No, we are not. So, I mean, they're on the lot line.
And can you just show us on that with the cursor how far in front of those windows do you come?
It's about 4 feet further to the rear that the facade would extend. I have a floor plan if you want to see it. So here you see the edge. It's about 4 feet more from that adjacent property rear facade.
Sorry, you're extending 4 feet.
On that side is 4 feet from the rear of the adjacent property that we were talking about.
The lot line windows.
Right. And how much of them do you cover?
All of
All of
them.
them.
All of them, because we're going
You're going all the way back.
Yes, and then 4 feet
And
more.
plus 4.
The 4 feet is beyond that then.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, I understand.
Oh my God, let's go to
Are
exact.
there further questions?
Okay, Brian or Anita, do you have any other questions? Or any questions, I should say?
So, well, okay, I'll just comment that 96 Bank is an example of a full addition, full back addition. The entire height of the back of the building, but it was pre-designation.
Right.
So within that donut, and I suppose that the modern townhouse around the corner also was.
Yeah, we wanted to.
Designation.
We wanted to mention that we know it's pre-designation. Our client refers to it as the ugly white building here, which is, I believe it's.
We don't need to have evaluations of other buildings.
Right, no, okay, I'm sorry.
Stick to
It
the-
wasn't my evaluation, but what I meant to say, it wasn't completely in the character of perhaps the historical character.
Yeah.
And how
I
do
think,
you feel
I think
about-
it's quite good looking, actually.
Anita, do you have anything?
No, I wait for exact, I think I understand what's going on here, so that's a good thing.
Okay, I just have one question that I forgot to ask regarding the front facade, and that's about that front door, which you say are you restoring it or are you replacing it in kind? What exactly are you doing there with that front door?
I believe it's in good enough condition that we can restore it in its condition now. It would be stripped and repainted.
Okay, so you're not replacing, that's a restoration of the front door then?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I do want to piggyback on that. A white door, I suppose that's kind of common, but it's very, very white. So I just be cautious that we're not going with the IKEA white. The historic white is softer, less white, if you will. The samples I see here are very, like modern white.
Understood. Yes, they would have to be more muted and more towards an off white, certainly not a bright white.
Right, not what I would call a modern white, which antiseptic white, no. No
Absolutely.
antiseptic white.
No.
No antiseptic now.
Okay.
All right, Chanel, do you have any other questions?
I have one thing about the visibility. I visited and found it, I'll just say this now because we're in the public session and we'll talk about it further, in the business session. From the very point where the photograph was made, it seems to loom. I think we have to discuss that it goes beyond our standard of not more than minimally visible.
With probably the mechanical enclosure.
I'm talking about what we see.
Right, right.
Yeah, and we're seeing two different levels. Okay, is that it, Susan, from the?
Okay, let's see if anybody from the public would like to speak. If you're here from the public and would like to speak, please raise your hand.
I think, well, the client is in the public. He may want to speak. Maybe he doesn't.
Oh, yes, Mark O'Brien is your client. Okay.
Yes.
I don't know whether he has the ability
All
to.
right. He should have the ability to speak now, so please go ahead, Mark.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
Hi, thanks. Sorry, I saw the button to click that to get involved, but I must have missed it. So there were a couple of things that I wanted to mention as we were going through the presentation. One is that, yeah, wood windows in the front, absolutely. I kind of thought that was LPC standard, is that it has to be wood exterior, and I like that. I restore old brownstones in Brooklyn and Manhattan, so that is great. Love it. Love wood windows. But I guess more importantly is the rear and the penthouse. So my client is she needs an elevator. So it was all about getting an elevator in this building, and we were pretty sure that we could get an elevator because she's 72 years old. She lived in Manhattan. She moved out to Stanford years ago. Now she's coming back to basically, spend her last years in Manhattan, back where she grew up and has fond memories. She loves the pink house. It's been pink for 50 years. The people she bought it from, it was pink for 50 years, and they never changed it. So she loves it. People call it the Pink Lady. She loves that whole vibe of the pink house in the West Village, only she can't get up the stairs. So she's, pretty hopeful that we can get an elevator in. And then I guess her feeling, not knowing, and then, talking to Alex as our architect was, look, we would look around in the backyard and thinking that nobody can see it from the street. And does LPC, certainly will have an opinion, but, do they, the people, the ugly White House, sorry for the rude, comment, but it is. Sorry. And it's right behind. They extend it all the way to the very back of the property. And I said, why can't I do that? So that's what we're proposing, is to extend, it's grade. It's below grade by like 4 feet. And then we're gonna bring, so right now I'm in a hole because the guy behind me extended his street level all the way to the back of the property line. So from what I understood, I thought we had some reasonable discussion to say that, yeah, we don't love it, but no one can really see it, and no one can see it, period. And then even the whole back facade, actually, it's stucco on top of brick. I'm happy to do brick. I talked to Susan, and she loves brick over stucco. So yeah, it just felt like, we've got a really ugly 1980s, 90s extension to our right, and directly behind we have aluminum cladding, white aluminum cladding. Directly behind, you can see it in the photo. And it goes all the way to the backyard, putting me in a hole. And I understand that that's how she bought it. But I think the feeling was that, we're improving the building, making it accessible to a woman that has had a hip replacement that's gone bad.
Nobody's objected to the elevator, or I don't
Right,
even see a
exactly.
bulkhead, so
Yeah, the
you're,
I
Do you
understand.
have
The
anything
elevator
more
is
to say
just,
about the design itself? That's what we're concerned with.
yeah, and
visibility, that's it. That's all we
Right.
care.
Right, well, great. And look, the neighbor who built the penthouse to my left, and now there's one being built to the right. So, the penthouse is, look, putting the mechanicals on the top of that penthouse is makes it most visible. I think, we would be happy to, put them in the backyard or something, but, the roof would be, or maybe off to the side, and eliminate that if that's a real problem. But again, standing on that roof for so many months now, I see structures that have been built, and it makes me wonder, why can't, can we do this as well? So I
Mark,
understand.
can I ask a question? So, can I ask a question to the committee? We understand that 96 Bank Street was pre-designation, and it is, though, extended to where it is. And we did have conversations with LPC staff who said that, it wouldn't be crazy to think that, we could at least match what the neighbor did there. It is there, and it does project into the donut, so to speak. I'm just wondering whether one gives any special consideration for factors like that.
But you didn't match it, you exceeded it.
Yeah,
We exceeded it, yes, but I'm saying,
and you're really putting them in a hole if you want to talk about the hole, because now you block them off 4 feet, even smaller, of daylight coming into their little backyard. So not very neighborly.
All right. Anyway, I think,
I'm sorry, there was a whole discussion of the backyard, and we never had a presentation on it.
sorry, what, Chenault?
We've never had a presentation about the backyard.
so the backyard is effectively a terrace.
Do you have a drawing you can show on you?
It's a terrace.
Correct.
Over a fully built lot.
Again, like the neighbor behind, and then basically the backyard is elevated 9 feet or so, as shown there with the tree. And then we're leaving a deep well for a tree and plenty of plantings to sort of create privacy and green and maintain the green.
And there is no excavation or intrusion involved then?
Well,
There is,
under,
There is a,
All
There-
excavated.
there
It's
is, a-
all excavated, Chanel.
Yeah, there are two people speaking.
yes, there is excavation shown where we have the hatch.
Here's a line of the existing yard, which is what I'm pointing at above that hatch.
The rear yard is raised 9 feet, and there is a hatch, and the hatch involves excavation.
Oh,
Yes,
Correct.
effectively, the rear yard is raised on a terrace level condition.
but it is it's about 4 feet above grade, not 9 feet.
4 feet
They're
above.
excavating the
How
whole
far above
backyard.
where it is now? Is that 4 or 9 feet?
The excavation is for the underpinning of the neighbor's foundation.
Aha, okay. We need to see where the underpinning is. This is one of the most delicate
Yes,
things there is.
understood.
And
Alex, can you point
you need
to the footing,
really the details about it.
which is the rear yard, right?
Yeah, well, there's no building to the east or west, but we would propose to butt up to this one-story adjacent building, which does go full lot. Where we did do a test pit here and found out that we would have to underpin.
Okay, can you show us on the drawing where that is?
Yes, it is right here, but it's covered with some text. If you see where my cursor is,
To the plan?
go to the plan, please. So this is the one-story adjacent building that's built up to their lot line,
Yeah,
and here's where we meet them. And so on the east and west sides, there is no building, so there would be no underpinning or shoring required.
East and west, you said there's no,
I have no idea where the underpinning is. Is that not just be pointed to?
I'm sorry, it's right here, if you can see my cursor.
Can you blow that up, Alex?
Yes.
It is at the lot line, at the south edge of the property.
Next to the one-story adjacent building.
And how many feet is it?
I think it's like 18 inches.
18 feet, but also it's probably worth noting that that one-story adjacent building is not the original.
I'm
Town.
asking the length of the underpinning of whatever is underpinned. Is it the neighboring building?
18 feet.
It's about 18 feet.
And do you have you said you've done a testing. There is a proper company that's taking.
Absolutely, and we can pull up more technical drawings if you'd like to see them.
Right, I brought in Big Apple to do the geotech and the test pits.
And this is the east wall, correct?
No, this is the south wall.
So Alex, maybe if you showed the house behind in the shot of the backyard,
Yes.
you can see the house and the structure behind that jets all the way to the back of their lot.
Okay.
It's on Greenwich Avenue, so it's not on Bank, it's on Greenwich Avenue and it projects across the backyard, basically.
Understand.
There it is. Let's blow that up. Previous.
Right, that's it.
Right here it is.
Bingo.
This is the lot line at the rear, the south lot line, and this is the property behind it.
Can you zoom that in a little bit, you think, Alex? I mean, that's the right shot. It's just, yeah, you can see
If it's the south, we understand it. Okay.
the townhouse is there. The backyard really just touches their sort of contemporary extension that goes back to, I'm not really sure what it is, to be honest, but
It doesn't matter what it is, it's an adjacent property.
Okay, one other question about the excavation. What is the depth of the excavation?
It's about 4 feet.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, maybe like 4 or 5 feet.
Okay, 4.
Okay, thanks. Does anybody have any further questions? And I'll ask if there's anybody from the public who has a question. I'll ask one last time. So I don't see any more raised hands. Mark O'Brien, are you done?
yes, I am. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very
Thank you.
much. All right, so I think we're done with this one, Chenault, and we can
Okay.
move on.
I'll
Thank you
read
all
the
very
next
much.
one while you elevate the people.
Yeah,
Thank you.
The address
thank
is
you.
357 Bleecker Street. The application is to remove existing rear extension and construct an added rear yard extension and add a rooftop structure.
Okay, who's our,
Just
Good evening.
Hello, welcome.
Hello. My name is Stephanie Goto. I'm the architect on the project and representing the owner this evening.
Great,
How are you?
very good. Thank you for
Good, thank
coming.
you. Thank you for your
Can you-
time.
Can you share your screen?
Yes, I'd love that.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yes.
May I ask first, is this a multiple dwelling converted to a one family?
It is a single family with retail on the ground floor.
And it's continuing to be that?
Yes, correct.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm just going to make the view full screen here. Can you see that?
yes,
I'm going to try to be as simple and clear and just the mission as that was stated. It is the removal of an existing modern extension and to the original building, which is the facade that you see here, and a proposal of a new extension replacing the existing to be more in harmony with the rear of the building and the context, which I'll show you, and a partial addition on the roof for a additional floor. And this is 357 Bleecker Street between Charles and West 10th. It's highlighted here on this map. North is Charles Street and west is Bleecker Street. These are the historic photos. All of the exterior elevation, the facades are being
Oh, she's frozen.
oh, you're frozen. We can't hear you.
Stephanie, you're frozen.
She can't hear us, maybe. Are you back?
Can you hear me?
Now we can hear you.
So sorry, the connection is slightly. Can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
Great. There was a kind of blip in the connection. I don't know why. My apologies for that. So this is the tax photo on your right-hand side from 1939. And I was just explaining that all of the exterior facade work is being done at staff level. I can just explain quickly what we're proposing. The designation photo is the next image. This is the designation photo from 1967. You can see, unfortunately, the cornice has been taken out and it's kind of been stripped down, and you will see the windows have also been replaced with aluminum steel windows that are from this kind of 60s generation. Okay, next page. Second, I'm trying to zoom out. And just to give you an orientation, again, this is this lot, and I'll zoom in further. And just a quick aerial view. this is the existing original building. This trapezoidal strange thing that's attached to the back is the addition that was done about 15, 20 years ago. It is a fully built lot. On the ground floor, it is full to the lot line. These are two views looking at it. Surrounding this site, we do have 4-story townhouse structures, as well as additions that have been built to the north. Here as well, there's an addition structure on Charles Street. And we'll look at that a little bit more in the next photo here. You can see 357 here with the trapezoidal addition and the full lot. These two buildings are 4 stories as well as this one. And then you have a 6-story building to the south and a 5-story building to the east and a 7-story building across the street. It's just the context here, I think, is important. So the next page.
May I ask, just while you're on this one, sorry to interrupt.
Yes, of course.
The conspicuous addition that you show at number 40, whatever it is.
357.
Street. Is that pre-designation?
This addition that you see here, that's currently existing, is that what you're asking?
Yeah. Do you know when it was done?
This was built 20 years ago, so it was after it was designated.
Okay.
Yes. The designation was in 67, so it was quite a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yes. Going further, let me just try to go full screen on this. And let's try that. Okay. And this is now zooming into our lot. It's specifically, this is the original 1829 brick row house. And then this is the sort of strange addition on the back that you see. And this is the terrace, which is the full lot build out. Our work is being pretty much done in this area, replacing the existing extension. I'm going to explain that we are going to extend the extension just by 4 feet, 6 inches or so, because we can, in terms of the lot coverage and the rear yard setback, gain that space. And then an addition here on the roof. So this is kind of the zone we're working in. And just again, from the rear here, this is the area that we're working in. And you can see that the back of the building is kind of pinned in by this building on Charles Street that kind of extends out. And so we just have this internal space that is with the facades of these few series of buildings on Bleecker and Charles. And here is the rear of the building. It was extremely poorly built, so it really is basically sticks to the floors. There is a portion of the original building here that's still visible. That's the only part of it that's remaining. You can see the neighboring building. There's no detail nor ornamentation. The neighbor has put some ductwork going up the back. And I really, the client wishes to just bring back a bit of history to this extension and just restore what is, I think, has just gotten to be a little bit a collage of things that are non-contextual. So just zooming in, this is the condition of that brick. It's clearly spalling. Parts of it have been repaired. The sills are new. The windows, these are the same as the windows that are in the front, are new. And then here is the addition that's been kind of tacked on to it here. And this is a little panorama standing on the rear terrace, looking at our neighbor. And then these are the Charles Street buildings, the rear of the Charles Street buildings. This has been a project, 92 Charles, more recent, I think, with an addition and obviously new rear, more modern facade. And you can see this 88 Charles here is really closing in the view of the rear. And this is the 5-story building. Yeah. And this now I'm just a series of drawings, and then I have renderings and views to show you so that it's a little bit more clear in 3D. This is the existing facade with the new windows that have been replaced. This is the current proposed facade that we are working at staff level, bringing back the windows. So they're 2/2 wood double hung windows, a new storefront, new entry door. But the scope of work really that we're talking about here is the addition. So this is the 1-story partial floor addition, and it'll be more clear in
Okay.
section, I think. I'm sorry? Oh,
It
sorry.
looks so complicated, that addition.
So in this like flattened front view, it doesn't read very well. So can I show you in other drawings? There is a generator that is necessary. It's all set back. This is all set back. So when you look at it in elevation, it all looks like it's sitting on top of the building very close to the front, but it's not. So I want to show you in section so it's clear. This is the rear of the building. We'll come back to it. I do have 3-dimensional renderings that show it in situ. But yes, this portion is the addition on the rear. So this is the existing. This is the proposed. We would really like to put brick on the exterior so that we really tie in with some of the other restorations that have been done and bring back a sense of quality, historic quality to the environment context. This is the existing building section, and I will show you the proposed. So it's really, it sort of sits on the perches on the back of the building. This is the existing rear of the building. This is the proposed slight extension. It does allow for the floor plates to have a little more room to function. We are permitted by zoning to have this is the maximum on the lot. We're retaining the terrace here in the back. We're extending this flue, which is our neighbor's flue, to be in code compliance with the tallest point. Can I continue? Is it okay?
Oh, yeah, while we're here, maybe we get some dimensions.
Yes, of course.
The depth of the extension.
The depth of the extension from the front, and in plan, it's a little
But
bit.
it itself is how.
Oh, this part. Is that right?
No, I think the extension is the bottom. How far into the garden?
This part.
Yeah, there.
This part is 4 feet 6 inches.
4 feet 6 inches.
Yes.
And
I'm sorry, 4 feet
how
9
high
inches.
is
9 inches.
the
9 inches.
penthouse level above the roof?
This part. What is the front to back of this dimension?
Yeah, well, that too. Yeah.
I actually don't have that from memory. Could you just bear with me 1 second? I just need to double check. It is on another drawing that's coming up, but I just.
Okay, well, we can get it later. How high is the penthouse?
The height from
the roof line.
From the existing roof level.
Yeah.
In order to achieve a 9-foot interior ceiling, we are using steel structures for the roof. It's about 11 feet 2 inches of extension.
And how far is it from the front of the penthouse to the front facade?
From the front, again, I have to reference my plan really quickly so I don't give
If
you.
you want to do that later, it's okay.
Yeah, I'd like to tell you that later. But so in concept, I've pulled it back really as far as possible so you don't see this fascia. It means the minimal, you might see a sliver of it, but what you do see is this railing, and that I will show you through the site photos and the mock-up that you do see this kind of open railing, the safety railing for the generator, which we need to do. So I've really, this
That's
is
okay.
really
We'll
the
get it
maximum.
later.
Okay, you get it. Okay, so I'm just gonna go back to my full page view. And these are just side by side existing and proposed sections, both at the just the simple addition, and there is a stair bulkhead that is cut so that this is also not impeding on the sightlines. And this is the north facade, which we're proposing in stucco as opposed to the east facade, which faces the backs of the other buildings in brick.
How much of that stucco extension is exposed? Is it all of
So
everything you
you
show?
will, so this is the existing building, existing extension. So that's exposed currently in stucco, and this L shape will be exposed above our neighbor. Now our neighbor 2 buildings to the north is just as tall as this. So this red line actually represents our neighbor 1 building away. And I'll have some views from the roof for the mock-up so you can kind of see also how this kind of slots in, because I think just with this drawing, this looks kind of massive, but I think that the scale, I would like you for you to tell me if you feel the scale is appropriate. And then this starts a series of renderings that we are montaging in. This is looking from the Bleecker Street side. This is Bleecker Street, Charles Street. Charles Street is north. This is our site here with the trapezoid. And this is the proposed rooftop element. And now going to the rear, this is the existing condition. This is Bleecker Street. And this is the proposed with the rear in brick. And then this is the 1 floor that's taller. This building is the same height as ours, as well as this building, and then this building is 5 stories.
So it's colored like a brick color, but you're saying it's gonna be stucco. It's not
On the
gonna be brick.
north side, we would
Yes.
like for it to be stucco, because I think also for ease of installation, being that we're sort of on the property line, I would prefer it if possible that is stucco. And there's other precedents, like this Charles Street building does have stucco for its extension on the side, and with some brick below.
Break on and then you change to brick at the corner?
Yeah.
We need to make obviously a nice detail for that, but yes, I really
That's
feel that
impossible. Impossible.
So-
make a nice detail. I know.
Yeah, we're kind of running into this. When you use the word stucco, the existing addition is probably not true stucco. If it's poorly built, as you say, it's probably some other skin coating of some sort.
Likely so, yes, but we would like to.
Stucco
use a high
meaning
level-
it's a cementitious material.
Likely so. I have not investigated it, but the stucco we're proposing is a built-up system with the proper layers that are, needed in the traditional sense of stucco. I'm not talking about the other cheap, ugly.
Yeah, okay, that's great.
Okay.
That clarifies that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The intent really is to do something that we feel can fit within the context. So this is just another angle showing our sort of family of facades here that are contiguous. It's a bit of a patchwork. I'd like to try to unify it a little bit more by using materials. Now, however, larger openings, slightly more open condition will be beneficial to the building, because this is north facing and there's not a lot of light coming from the Bleecker Street side because of the narrow street and the trees and the tall building across the street. Yes, so, and here, I have the floor plans, if I may move just to just showing you in a plan dimension. Can I move on from this three-dimensional view?
Definitely, keep going.
Okay, great.
We're with you.
Okay, great. So, and please let me know if I need to zoom, but the gray represents the existing structure. This red portion, which is the 4 feet 9 inches, is the extension. This is the existing full lot terrace that's built. This is the existing, and this is the proposed. Here you can recognize the trapezoidal shape here. This is the existing, this is the proposed. It just really allows, you know, spatially also a slightly nicer space for the rear of the building. And this is now the proposed 4th floor, which doesn't exist. So this is the roof, and this is the addition that I would like to execute. And then here's just the roof with the generator. The generator is oriented in this direction, obviously, because we need the fire access. And just details of how the stucco system will be built up with proper insulation and the scratch coats and the lath and so on. And then what I didn't mention actually, and I will when we go back to the renderings. I did want to use metal panel on the west facade, which is the side facing Bleecker Street. That's not visible from the street. Slightly more just traditional like metal paneling that you'd find on these kind of penthouse structures historically. And here's my pink mock-up. I need you to wear your squint your eyes a little bit, because we originally built a taller mock-up just to test my intentions, which, you know, clearly was not a good idea. So I'm in the process in the next 2 days to take down the taller part of the mock-up. The pink part, just to be very clear, is the actual presentation, the proposal. So just if I can take away the top part for a second, it'll be gone in a few days. The flue extension is here. The generator is sitting back here. This is the railing, the safety railing for the generator. And this is the top of the addition that we're making. And here, of course, is the stair bulkhead. There's a small wall extension here for privacy, as this is a bathroom that we'd like to propose. And I have a couple of views of this. I think also an important note here, our neighbor has a kind of acoustical screen here that's almost as tall as our proposal. And then here on Bleecker Street, this 6-story building is much taller. And another view here, again, squint and take away the top part of the mock-up. This is looking north. This is the building, one building away. We're at the same height as this building here. Obviously, ours is set back. Oh, you wanted to know how far set back it was. Let me just give you that dimension quickly. 22 feet, 8 inches to the vertical facade of the extension, and then to the rear, it's 32 feet, 9 inches is the configuration. The bulkhead of the stair is 12, almost 13 feet back from the front of the building.
Sorry, I didn't hear when you said it.
Oh, I'm sorry. You wanted to,
From the
I
front
wanted
of
to
the
come
building.
back to the setback. So this is 22 feet, 8 inches from the front of the building is the front fascia of the addition on the 4th floor. And
Okay,
the whole addition on the 4th floor is about 32 feet, 9.5 inches. The lot is 70 and 17 wide. The setback here on the rear yard is 14 feet 6. And I will go to the next. 1 second. So we were at the mock-up here, and this is the mock-up looking sort of east, but towards the south. You can see the tall 6-story building in the rear here, and you can see this we're really about the same height as this is 92 Charles Street here. That has a nice stucco side to it here in the brick color. Again, this is the top. This is the top of the railing. You know, in this mock-up, it looks like it's a wall, but it's actually the railing. And the generator is sitting back here. It really kind of overlaps with the railing, so it's hard to see because it's set back.
Let's just see the visibility.
Yeah,
That's
let's see
what we
it.
want to
Yes, let's see it. And that's next. That's coming. There's 4 views that are clearly where you can see the pink elements. So I will start on A and B from Charles Street, and C and D from West 10th Street. Across the street, you can't see anything. You're way too close. The street is actually rather narrow here. So here we are on Charles Street, and I have some zoomed in views, and I will zoom in further. So this is where I'm standing. These are the zoomed in views. Again, this thing that you see at the top is the mock-up that I'm taking down, but you see here the light pink line, that is the safety railing of the generator that you see here. And I have now done a montage of the railing here. I've stitched it in behind these trees. This black railing is the railing that you would see, which is the pink line. Yes, so this is what you see here from Charles Street.
Not yet.
Is that clear?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Next page down. Okay, great. So now this is also from Charles Street, slightly different angle. You can see a little bit of pink here. I'm zoomed in here. This is also the top. This is the railing, the safety railing. This is the part that is not doing, way too tall, obviously. And then if I zoom in, you can see I've stitched in the railing here. That's the safety railing of the generator. You see a little corner of the generator here. This is that sort of beigey looking thing. And this is the extension of the neighbor's flue, which I hope to try to push back as far as possible, but it is all going to depend on what we find. But yeah, this is what you see here from this. It's quite, it's quite a bit.
What's the railing made out of?
Oh, it's a standard steel railing with a gunmetal finish. Very minimal, but just enough to give safety, but not also very open. So you really see beyond it.
Well, Stephanie,
Yes.
it comes out in your rendering or that, why wouldn't you pick a zinc color to match the zinc that you're using for that facade?
Yes. I think all of the gray colors will be harmonized. That would be my intent. Anywhere where we have metal, including the storefront, I think we're trying to keep within the same family. So I follow your suggestion for that.
Okay.
Great. And now we are going over to 10th Street. This is our building here. Again, the bit that you see up here is the part that I'm taking down. Again, way too visible. That was not a good idea. The little piece of pink here that you see is that railing for the generator. I've stitched it in here. My new zinc colored railing. So this is now, we're on 10th Street. We're sort of, diagonally across, not quite at the corner on 10th Street, looking north east. And the next page here, this is now we're across the street on 10th Street. And this is a zoomed in photo standing there. It's much farther in the distance normally, but this is that railing that again, for the safety railing and the flue extension. And this is the, this flue extension is, it's a little bit farther forward than I think where we can push this back. So I'm showing the railing, and there is a ladder that goes up to the roof of the firemen. And here we might see, and I'm sorry, this should be gray, but it's not. This should be gray. Somehow it's picked up the brick color. This is a little bit of that fascia. But it's in this sliver where this Bleecker Street building and the next building has a slight break. And I think this is why we see what we see. But I wanted to point it out. I think that those are the end of, that's the yes, that's the view. And I think that's sort of the end of my presentation. Looking forward to your comments.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for being so clear. And it's a great relief for all of us to see that what appeared to be visible on that mock-up is the part that it no longer represents anything that you're building.
Yes.
So that's great to see.
Yes.
All right. Chenault, do you have any questions?
I don't have.
Okay, how about you, Brian?
Okay, in this view, Stephanie,
Yes.
what are the windows? Could you describe the windows in that view?
Here.
Yes.
Yeah, so I am requesting a very open window with no divisions for these two floors. It is this portion, these two floors, as there is a knee wall of 15 inches, so it's not floor to ceiling. And then on the ground, sorry, not on the ground floor, but on the second floor, which opens up to the terrace, there will be operable sliding doors so we can come outside. But I wanted to try to maximize that that opening, and so that's what you're seeing.
So if it's a solid sheet of glass, that means there's no ventilation.
Correct. You're correct. We are using the rear spaces not for bedrooms. So the light and air issue is slightly averted because of that. But I appreciate.
It's a terrible mistake, these windows, just terrible. Everything else I
You're
follow.
not okay.
You must have woken up with I don't know, claustrophobia, because I don't think it does anything for you. There's nothing historic about it. I don't even like it in modern buildings. They're not operable. The scale is wrong. It looks even bad in your rendering.
I really thought it was an incomplete rendering where you left it blank to be determined later. I think it's got to be divided into 3 parts at least, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Go ahead. I appreciate that very much.
I'll leave it there. I'm very curious about the generator on the roof. You refer to it as generator. I don't see any references to an HVAC system up there. Can you describe what is the generator and why is it there?
Why is it there? I mean, in this day and age, you never know what we're going to have a natural disaster. So in a home like this, I think it's very important to have power. It was really the only place we can put it. There will be some lower condensing units that are much, much smaller, placed probably along the southern side of this generator.
How is it that thing?
It's not finalized, but the air conditioning system will be a series of split systems with condensing units on the roof.
Oh, so there may be more equipment on that roof within the railings.
There likely will be, but they're 24 to 30 inches tall.
And we assume they'll be pushed back so there's no visibility.
There'll be no visibility, exactly. They'll all be within the sort of the around the generator.
What is the size? That generator looks like a trailer. Is it that big?
It's yeah, the generator is not small. To power a home this size, I have to say that engineers, I hope there are no engineers in this room, but sometimes they oversize things. I may be able to, try to get this to be smaller, but really when I gave him the list of things that I needed to power,
Again, it itself is not visible. It's only the railing that's visible.
Correct, yeah, and
Okay, so we've
the
got
owner
point.
really wanted to make sure that, he was able to maintain the climate control, security, all these kinds of things in the
Well,
case.
no windows.
I
He's
think
got
we
to get some
understand.
air
We can
in.
move along from the.
So,
Yeah.
so
Good,
I really appreciate your point about the windows. Our neighbor here, on Charles Street does have a few divisions. I did originally consider them. I wanted to go, I am a modernist. I wanted to try to go for something that was a little bit more restrained. So you've completely picked up on it, and I can work to improve that if that's important for the commission or for the community board.
Okay, are there other questions? Susan?
I don't think so. I do hope that, Stephanie, I'm sure it seems like you do, but I hope you truly understand why I think it's safe to say that none of us will be able to be in favor of these windows as presented.
I understand completely. So perhaps that's something that I may improve upon prior to going to the hearing, the LPC hearing later this month, early next month.
Okay.
If you would allow me to
I want to
improve
say
on
something
it.
about the front windows. I've lived around the corner for 55 years.
Oh, you have, so you know
And
this
those windows
building.
have driven me nuts every time I pass. So I'm
The
so glad
windows?
we're not having the kind of windows I grew up with in a mid-century modern house.
It's curious, right? That these windows, what they did here in the 60s.
Yeah, they did that. I did the building block
2 blocks south.
East.
2 blocks east.
Yeah, and actually Landmarks wanted us to keep the modern facade, and we did. It's all white. It's the white building at Leroy.
Oh, right.
So,
It's curious that I believe if I wanted to keep these windows, I actually had to go to public hearing. If I were to go to the 2/2, it was approvable at staff level. So, we're really
interesting. Huh,
we're
okay.
really trying to, that's what, the reading was. We're really trying to respect historically, but also I think, understand that we're in the context where a lot of things have changed. So,
Well, we are a historic district, and you're in front of a historic preservation group,
Yes.
Evaluating that. So as much as we all may like modern or contemporary but that's our motive here, is to keep a cohesiveness
Yes.
in the neighborhood. And Bleecker Street is a very difficult case because it's been mishmashed along so
Yeah.
much. So
Yes. Appreciate that.
appreciate that, your design problem.
Thank you. I hope we can bring some, some quality to this facade that would bring value to this block itself. Because I think it will definitely improve the feel, the look and the feel.
Yeah, good, great.
Thank you. Is there anybody from the public here who wishes to speak? Please raise your hand if you wish to speak. Don't see any hands raised, so I think we're done, Stephanie.
Thank you.
Excellent, excellent.
Thank you very
Thank you
much. And thank you for being so clear.
I appreciate
Really
your time.
appreciate that.
Enjoy your evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay.
Okay,
2 hours. How'd you propose?
I thought we only had 3 presentations tonight. 10th,
Hang on one second.
oh, sorry.
Okay. Okay, Chanel.
You look like Star Wars was coming out of the screen or something. I never saw
Just-
such a face.
I was just moving some people around. Okay.
Okay, 10th Street. The 5th floor studio window is being moderately changed.
Hold on, I'm gonna just pull up the drawing, so.
It had a sort of transomy look before, and now it's a little more regular.
Okay. Oh, all right, we're talking about the front facade?
The 5th floor studio window.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with them. I think they look elegant because I like the elongated.
Virtually, it's not- From the street, it's not going to show at all.
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought that was fine, Brian.
Yeah, I agree. It's fine.
and they're an addition. That was post cornice. What's next?
The stair bulkhead and
This
structure.
is the elevator, va-va-voom, right?
Mhm.
Massive,
Yeah.
massive, enough for like a Soho manufacturing district. It's very big.
You
But
mean the
that's
size of the elevator is big?
the bulkhead.
Bulkhead.
Well, it's to get to the roof. I mean, that's probably why. But it's, whatever it is, it's like 20 feet above the roof. It's not like
12 feet above.
19 I have, yeah.
19, yes,
19 above the front facade.
that's big.
Roof.
But you can't see it, is that true?
You can see it a bit.
A small
You can
bit.
see it a little bit.
It does, however tall it is, it meets the not more than minimally visible. Not more than minimally visible standards, certainly.
You're saying it does meet the minimally standard. These double negatives really get me. I
Yeah,
don't
right.
speak English that well, really. That's too much. All right, so we have the bulkhead and the elevator shaft. Okay, it is what it is. I mean, if it does,
No one spoke ill of it at the
Yeah.
presentation.
and if it's not visible or too visible, it should be fine. And then what's next here? This
rear
is
windows,
That
Um,
rear,
this is oh my God, the proportions, everything, terrible. These are like the
not to
skinniest,
mention
smallest.
aluminum windows on
window.
the upper floors.
Sorry, Chanel, if I was talking over you. What was that?
The 2 things I noted were the double height and the proportion, and they proposed aluminum windows rather than wood.
For the back, all of them?
Yeah.
Aluminum
Double
clad
hung
wood.
aluminum windows on the upper floors.
Not aluminum clad? Let me see, where is it? They don't have any window details, which I think we deserve. In all of these applications, we didn't see any window details. Just saying, because then we don't have to ask so many questions.
Or we don't believe it when we do, in the case of the last. Well, what do we say about the rear facade then?
I think I said too much.
We say that, I think in my memory, we say systematically that metal is okay for the newer full width.
Well, aluminum and steel are two different things. And a lot of people have been using steel, which is more elegant, upscale. Aluminum is like, not quality. I mean, I guess they're better now, but.
Well,
Which
can
are you saying steel's the better?
Well, yeah, it's different. It's just different. It's a different aesthetic.
Better ones, I think in my mind, are always in steel, the better applications in general.
Well, because it's that industrial look people like.
I don't have a note on the material for the others. It's the double hung ones that I'm.
Well, it
recommend
doesn't
steel.
say.
We recommend steel
Replace-
below and wood above.
Yeah. But here's the thing, have we ever recommended something that was this much of a void? I know that, we have
The double height.
recommended approval of double height windows, but they've
I
always.
think we have
provided
always
lights
asked that
or
there be some
something.
delineation of the floor to give a hint that it's covering 2 floors.
Right, and to suggest the original rhythm of the rhythm of the original building. I mean, have we ever approved something that is just like a big
We have not.
void
no.
like that?
This is what I would
Even
call
if we
like,
did, this is not a time we have to.
we cannot approve this. Then I don't know why we're here.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just not approvable. If somebody's asking us, if nobody asked, I wouldn't say anything, but if we're being asked to approve it, I forget it. There's no molding, there's no lintels, there's no nothing. This is like magic architecture. I don't like it at all. Nothing about it, and it'll never be open. So it's really just a glass. It's like,
Wait, what are you on?
I'm
The
on a
double
double
height window.
height, mullion-free magic windows that have no lintel, no expression of anything. I don't like them, and I say no. Let's put it like that.
We're denying it and recommending windows with more detailing and historic reference is what we usually say.
Sounds good.
Brian, did you have a different feeling, or do you?
No,
agree?
I would agree with that. It would be an improvement. So that's on the lowest level in the rear, and then the upper levels of single windows are acceptable.
Yeah,
And
Well, and they're the right size and
And
all
we
of that.
want the upper floor in wood, correct?
correct.
They don't have to be wood. We don't.
On the upper.
it'd be nice if they were wood, but for a rear facade that doesn't get seen by the
I
public.
would have them aluminum clad wood windows, because that's a quality window, but it's not really. It doesn't say, all it says is double hung windows in kind. Oh,
Well, he must have said aluminum because I wrote down aluminum.
okay. Well, I'll pick my
If they're
battles.
clad, I didn't get that.
I see. Well, no, this is the first one. This is, there might be a little confusion here. This one, the front windows, he wanted them, well, they're not aluminum clad. I thought they were vinyl clad now, but clad windows. And instead, we want wood windows, not clad on the front facade, painted.
Right.
This was, I think there was some confusion because they were saying, oh, you want them wood in the back. Well, What we want and what we can get are two different things, but the front are the ones that should not be metal clad. They should be wood, painted wood, like everybody else does.
Right. That's what we normally ask for.
Okay,
And
right?
Yeah.
preservation.
Because that was confusing.
It was confusing.
This was a confusing application. Not that the work is so confusing, I just think we went down some side alleys here. Okay.
Bank Street was the confusing one.
Yeah. Can we do the last one and do Bank Street last? No, let's do Bank Street, get it over with. If I hadn't studied the plans in detail, I would have no idea what was going on.
Well, isn't that always the case? That's why
No,
we're.
the lady presented the last one perfectly clearly, but.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes it's not so
Okay,
easy.
I'll go through mine. Let's do bit by bit so we don't get in the front. There was a big recitation about the front, and I'm not sure that anything is before us.
Just the window on the front, the top floor.
You're
And that's
correct.
fine.
No, what are we? What
And they agreed to wooden ones, and the
Am I off
man
on
that came at the end, whoever
Sorry.
he was.
Chanel, hang on a sec. Sorry, we just moved to Bank Street, yes?
Oh, I don't-
Which proposal are we on?
Oh, I'm sorry.
So you and Anita are in two different proposals, and I'd like to know what is in front of us to discuss at this
No,
moment.
Bank Street. I was teasing about moving.
Okay, but we never voted on the first one.
Let's back up to 10th Street for a moment, okay?
Okay. I'm sorry. I thought we were
I
finished.
thought you were summarizing 10th Street.
Yeah, no, he
All
moved
right.
to Bank, okay. Okay, so now Susan, the traffic cop says, Bank? Wait, the
No.
light turns green.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm giving the first thing of Bank Street is the front.
No,
No, we're gonna
everything
back up.
was-
Hold on,
everything is
Cheryl.
staff, and the applicant agreed to wooden windows.
That's true, but we're not on Bank Street yet. We're backing up to 10th Street for a moment, just to make sure
Okay.
we're all on the same page, okay?
Okay, I'll back up.
Okay. So Anita and Brian, was there anything else on 10th Street? Where did, I know
Well, we
We
approved the
the
windows.
studio window.
yeah, the last item on 10th Street that we were talking about in review was the top floor. They're replacing that, and that needs our recommendation. And it seems like we're good with the change of the top floor.
Right. Of the-
Yes.
And the elevator.
Yes, we can accept the tall elevator.
Because it's not particularly visible.
Correct.
Mhm. Right.
And the entire rooftop addition,
Right, not visible, therefore
right,
Uh,
acceptable.
acceptable. Okay, just so did we cover all the points that we need to on 10th Street?
And we're all in agreement.
Be clear about what we're asking for the material for the upper windows on the rear. Are we asking that those be wood?
I
I'm not.
just
promoting-
want to read the application. It says here, replace windows throughout and modify certain rear windows. I don't think we should say one thing or another with the rear windows because they could do what they want if they want to cheapen it up.
In terms of the material, what do you think, Brian?
I could go along with that, but we are going to call out the lower level windows and door to the basement.
Yes,
The two-story opening.
yes. Which
I
has
have that.
no frame, no anything,
No detail,
Magic.
no nothing.
Right.
magic doors.
You got
Okay,
that?
so we're all in agreement on all of these points then, yes?
Yes.
Yes,
I am.
yeah.
In both design and detail.
The only reason I bring it up is now I'm confused about the wood windows and if it was this application. Because the other, so that's my confusion. I just
All I
want to make
wrote down was
sure.
that they were proposing aluminum windows, whether they are, that's cladding or material, I don't know. But
So we want wood
aluminum
on
is
this.
in their mix for the double hung windows.
Well, it doesn't hurt for us to be clear to say that we want wood on the front facade.
That's it, yeah. Because I can't,
The front facade,
yes,
I thought, was on staff level.
It is.
They were doing wood, because they were doing wood.
okay, they were.
That was my understanding.
I would hope so.
Then we were simply opining on the rear windows.
All right.
The upper ones. the
That's
lower
right.
ones,
That's right.
You
Okay.
know, so I think we have them
I'm-
divided up now in the rear.
My confusion.
Okay with the single windows on the upper levels. On the lower level of the rear facade, we have the note about
I've got all that.
detail. Yeah.
Okay, and you're right, Bank Street. They were gonna do this grills.
Okay, Bank Street.
Okay, Bank Street.
All right, now
Front
Bank.
facade is in the domain of the staff. And I don't have any note for all that was said.
Well, be that as it may, I think we should still include in our resolution on Bank Street that I think we should discuss that, you know, we want wooden windows on the front facade. And that, I don't know what this, you know, this grill thing. I mean, I think what the grill thing was that they were describing are those fake, non-divided light.
Well, they have simulated, then there are no true divided lights anymore. Nobody makes them. So these are the simulated ones. I forget what they're called, but they have even a filler. So we want that.
Not the snap-on.
Yeah.
Not the.
I mean, I think it was just he misused the word grill. I think
think
he
so.
meant the divided lights.
Well, it seems to me that we can clarify that by calling them the historic style divided light wood windows. And I believe the industry has that definition and all the details.
Good.
That sounds like really good language. Did you get that, Chenault?
I did. That, right.
And frankly, I think we deserve more details on windows because it's makes it very easy to understand what they're doing. We don't really know what they're doing. So,
Also, moving from the windows to the front door, which, you know, is part of the restoration of the front facade. I don't think it hurts to make Anita's point about the white color.
definitely. It looks very tutti frutti.
And I, in
The
general,
white color sample that was presented was too white.
Way too white.
yeah,
Yeah. And also for the windows, I mean, everything. It's not a white that we use in this old 1830 building.
right.
So the sample is, the color is disapproved. I think we have to make sure
Just
that,
you know, more historically accurate white, not a contemporary bright white.
absolutely.
You know, aside from all the jumping around that the applicant did during this proposal, one of the things that additionally made it a little bit hard to follow was that some of the answers felt a little improvisatory in nature. And that made it a little tricky too. I don't know, I'm not saying that they were, it's just, you know, that kind of like, oh yeah, that could be, or yeah, well, sure. You know, that we're, I
Yeah,
think
they
we're not
had a
used to
grasp of
something
their
being so
own.
casual in these presentations.
They haven't-
I wasn't sure that they had a grasp of what they were presenting.
No, it was a little strange.
Well, I hope they have more now. With
Nevertheless,
the benefit This is also the applicant that sticks 4 feet out beyond the already extended building next
Correct.
door.
Okay, so do we have anything else on the front?
No.
That's all I have on the front. The paint and the windows
Okay,
to be emphasized. The rear facade. Okay, the demolishing the existing rear facade, I assume, is okay. And that
Yeah.
solves the question of demolishing historic fabric at the rear facade, because there's not any. So that done.
There isn't.
wait,
It's
there is historic fabric on the rear.
4 feet, so they tore everything out. No, I think there is. I don't, why wouldn't there be?
Right.
That's the other one. That's the last one. That has nothing historic.
Right. But
Well,
let's,
sure, there's
First, can we deal with the dimension of it?
existing rear facade,
is historic
Is historic.
fabric.
Yeah.
but
Look,
there's a total addition being added on, so that's all gone.
That's her point. That's her point.
So it would, as part of that donut and over there on, Charles, no, it's
Greenwich, maybe.
Greenwich, yeah. There was, it seemed like there were some other examples. Oh yeah, this is where around the corner, there was a modern townhouse and they have a 1-story extension all the way in their backyard. And this applicant is saying, okay, we need to extend our lower level all the way back to it. And so we've got in that donut, there's not much of historic fabric left. There's a lot of additions that have been made back there, or they're apartment buildings or bigger
Well, they
buildings.
can build full lots
Yes, they can.
in some of
Yeah,
these, because of
it's
these,
close to the avenue.
and these are tiny blocks and.
Yeah, well, the odd configuration of the lot itself being
And
It's
have an
eccentric,
angle at the back.
yeah.
It's all very, very tight, very tough. And I personally, I would not say no, absolutely no addition, because we want to keep the old facade in the rear. So I'm going from the point of they're allowed to extend back. And their neighbor has an extension all the way back, all in full height. Well, right, pre-designation.
Pre-designation.
And the townhouse, the modern townhouse that is
Yeah.
in their backyard, right, butting up to their backyard, it was also pre-designation. So we can't be contending or contesting anything like that. I believe that in terms of the new rear facade, I think Chanel brought up the point, are we okay with them going past the neighbor's rear facade? Creating, closing that in even more.
yeah, it was interesting because he was just talking about how his property got closed in, but this is way more, if you ask me. This is 4 feet. You're gonna have like a little sliver. But I don't know. These are difficult questions. I tend to agree that they should be allowed to extend this tiny house. It's a tiny, tiny house.
Yes.
But I don't know if they, the windows that they put in there, and again, it's like, sometimes I wonder why we're reviewing them, because there's nothing
Let's
historic.
settle the bulk first, and then we'll do the windows.
The
Is
bulk.
it I contend that it's too deep. It should at a minimum pull back to be level with the house beside it.
I agree.
Because we don't want to make the donut worse than it is.
Well, I mean, it's a very congested corner over there, and, that's just what it is, but and already moving the rear facade further in, to be contiguous with that one next to it, encroaches even further. Okay, we can all understand why they want to do that. But the idea of encroaching the extra 4 feet beyond that, I just don't support that.
It certainly doesn't benefit anyone except maybe themselves, because there
Which is
is,
their job, so I understand why they
Yeah.
want it, but I don't understand why it makes sense to even further congest.
and now the backyard, is 14 feet. In a way, they should probably just build the first floor solid and then put a terrace on top. It's very
Yeah.
slicey dicey.
I don't think we have to help. We just feel that it's too deep.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's so deep.
Yeah, I could go along with
Do you
that
agree,
kind of
Ryan?
language.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's the mass.
The material of brick, I don't think we object to, but the windows we have comment about. Do we want the upper floors, though it's an extension, to ask for double hung punched windows on the top 2 floors as we would normally?
Yeah, I think we should. That would be
We should
good.
too.
Let's ask.
Yeah.
I think it would help also because you see that more from a distance too. Everyone would, the lower ones. Their tree starts like at 5 feet up. Yeah, did you notice that? You're gonna see the trunk.
Deep planter.
How do you spell tripartite?
TRIPARTITE. Tripartite.
I did it just
Thank you.
This spelling.
It was good in school, I could tell. Funny. Okay, what next?
the rooftop addition.
Oh,
I believe that it's visible.
let me see, where was my
Compare
mark?
it to others we saw, it's highly visible.
It is visible. I thought it was within the minimum that I would apply.
Did you see it from
Oh, this is the one that they made it easier to understand. Because I couldn't understand this. This is all two planes. Yeah.
it's just a lot of bulk that presents itself. From the street to the north. I think it was the first one they showed.
Right, the confusion was, what's penthouse, what's mechanical screen?
The
But we
view
sorted
number
that out.
4 is the one that is most visible.
I'm just talking about the aggregate of what showed, which was a lot.
What page are you on, Anita?
Page 10.
That's where we finally got it defined as cedar, weathered.
Yes.
Weather beater.
Weathered gray cedar to match the zinc.
I don't know. There's so much mishy-mashy up there anyway. It doesn't bother me so much.
Yeah.
I love this because of the way the lot twists, it looks like it's the neighbor's extension. You can blame it on him. It's like, I didn't do it, it's his.
I just can't see that that's minimal.
Now, if you think about it as was described this evening, Chanel, where we now know that part of that is a rooftop mechanical screen and part of it is the penthouse, Does that
Right.
change
So
anything
if
for
you
you?
eliminate the part that's the upper part and just take the expanse on the lower level that goes into color for some reason.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'll go with whatever the rest of you feel.
Well,
I'm
that's what the
happy.
applicant, didn't the
Could
applicant?
we
indicate-
ask them to take steps to reduce the visibility? I don't know what that
The
is.
visibility of the rooftop mechanicals, so that we would say that because the fact of the matter is that I think we could all agree that the penthouse minus the rooftop mechanical screening would meet the standard of minimal visibility, yes?
Yes.
It's just that
Also-
they're unfortunately placed.
It's what's on top of that that raises the question of,
But it'll read as solid. I mean,
Yeah,
these
so
things are
that's-
solid.
right, so that's why maybe we can suggest, repositioning the rooftop mechanicals
Or stepping them back.
or stepping them back, well, repositioning, however,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we could say that provided that the
Yeah, that's good.
mechanicals are moved in a way that they're less visible or not visible.
I think that sounds good. What do you guys think?
Yeah, good.
That's good.
All good. We good? Next one?
Yeah, I just want to write it.
Oh, you're a magician. You can do it. Zip. These were 3 demanding applications, I think.
Yeah, for rather
Glad we
small
didn't have any more.
Yeah,
buildings and small,
but also very precious, all of them, precious
Okay,
building.
the rear yards to be raised 9 feet by some levitation or something.
well, they're simply building a basement
Yeah,
underneath.
a
The
full
yard,
lot.
the backyard gets a full basement under it. That's what that amounts to.
Yeah. Which becomes the terrace.
Yeah, and so
And
the
it was
roof.
part of that
roof-
disingenuous thing of the reason was so the lady could walk out from the parlor floor when the reason is to put a room underneath. You know, it's infuriating.
Yeah. She can't use the stairs, but she can climb the stairs to get into the front door.
Yeah, or cellar even, yeah.
Yeah.
But we never objected to the having an elevator. That's, I think,
No.
understandable.
No,
We got big.
I'm talking about the reason that your rear yard is raised is not because you can step out. You can have a ramp from the parlor floor. The reason is they want to put a room under there to have more room. So say so.
Yeah,
Yeah. And as we said, it's a small house, a very small house. They're just wanting to maximize what they have. And I think, maybe both of these next ones this is allowed by code.
I just don't have any sympathy for a house being small. There are plenty of big houses in the world to live in.
Well, they're just maximizing what they're entitled to by zoning,
true.
so.
But a whiny excuse is.
Well,
doesn't-
these are all very, these are tight little.
Yeah, and so we're not accepting that just carte blanche. We're saying, like the last one, we think it should be pulled back. We instead of taking the maximum total area, pull it back so you don't block out the neighbors. Be a good neighbor.
And have a zigzag too. I mean, if anything, unify it instead of making another break and another break. It's,
But in this case, the basement doesn't really change anything in the donut. Seems like it's a way to get a decent terrace back there where very little is available.
yeah.
Anyway, so that's,
And the excavation.
no objection. I think
All the usual.
they had They had, either they had a lot of details and we didn't want to go into it, or they're consulting with a.
Oh, the
reputable-
geotechnical, yeah, I don't know, who knows? Because we are not looking at it, but they certainly need to. And I wasn't clear on, there was the discussion about the rear wall. Obviously, we're going below a one-story building because that's the one that's built full right here, up against their back property line.
Yeah, that's right,
But I don't know what happened on either side.
well, those are just yards.
Well, they're always different levels, trust me.
Yeah. And the one in the rear has got a lower level structure with a
Oh,
foundation.
so they're good there.
Well, they're down there pretty close to their level.
Yeah.
As the neighbor's level.
I see.
So, but there's engineering and it's a modern house, one story. So I think that's very manageable for engineering wise
Yes.
and excavation, because it's not a delicate old building.
Right, it's not
Definitely.
merchant's house, right?
Yeah, it doesn't go, it's not being undercut by the.
But even so, sorry.
Well, we're,
Even so, I think, Chenault, I know you'll craft some very careful language on this, because we really didn't get we had to really dig deeply with the questioning to even get.
Found out that it existed.
Yeah, exactly. So,
on the page 14 of their application, they show a section through the new basement, we're calling it, right? Basement extension. And on either side, the properties, they don't show, they're going below what little information we have here. I mean,
And
if they're
I'll put that also all steps are
on the
taken to
sidewalls,
ensure the integrity of whatever it touches.
yeah,
As well as
including the side
the
yards.
adjoining
Again, I've had
building.
a big mess with that kind of thing.
did you hear that,
Building
Chenault? Anita
gardens.
said to make sure to include the side yards.
Because, they're building down, but I don't know what's going on, what level the yard is at or anything. We don't know anything. We just know
The whole
that,
perimeter has to be safeguarded.
Yes.
yeah,
That's true.
okay.
Anything else except complaining about the presentation?
That's all I got.
No, we're good.
Bleecker Street. In the end, the only question seems to be the windows in the back. And we were going to recommend that they are. How deeply do we want to recommend?
Well, I
Are you
think,
asking, do we want to recommend denial of the windows as presented?
I think we're saying that, yes.
Yes, I
definitely.
think I would agree with that, and
Well, they should be operable. I mean, really, that was a good one, Brian, because in today's age, it's not an office building.
We're
It's
not objecting to the opening. We're objecting to what happens inside the opening, correct?
Yeah, I mean, it's not an old house to begin with, so it doesn't have to be oldie timey,
Doesn't have to be punched windows.
right?
Right,
But it should be divided up to a normal scale.
yes.
I don't know why people take the ugliest example and make that theirs. Really? Okay, there's another one in the,
Yeah, it's shocking to see picture windows in a historic district of a,
and the size of this, and the house is this big. It's terrible,
shock.
terrible. Also, I don't like the brick and the stucco.
yeah, we need to talk about the resolution of the brick and the stucco. I mean, I think the applicant was clearly aware of the fact that there needs to be some sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Transitional element or something,
Well, it looks like a suburban house, which has the brick facade, and then it's like, just turns the corner and becomes wood.
Yeah,
What's the point of the stucco? I didn't get what I got all about it, but
Because it's there now, or?
It's too hard to build a masonry wall there, I think.
You're right. I think that it's lighter weight, even if it is properly heavy duty, well insulated with a cementitious stucco. In other words, a traditional plaster type stucco. So we're not, this is not a plastic fantastic.
No, I
kind of
don't even think they're legal in New York, actually.
That's,
Do we recommend that it be just old brick?
well, I think it'd be difficult to recommend that side wall in brick. There's a lot of, well, it's,
Why would we make the back brick? It's got picture windows in it.
Yeah.
This is not a brick building.
yeah, I would say if
Stucco
we go to
back.
one or the other, it would be all stucco material.
Oh, we're recommending, oh, I'll get it. Okay.
Because it's not a masonry vocabulary. It's a steel. What's carrying those windows? We got big old steel in there. There's no masonry. It's just, that's a memory. And not a very good, and not a good one.
In that case, barely.
Not even, yeah.
Just want the unity in between the side and the back and that unity should be stucco.
It should be one
One
thing.
or the other. I mean, they can decide.
But brick, he's got a good point. So I don't mind stucco. Stucco's very traditional in
Right.
all these
It
buildings.
will also help the light situation.
Right.
Well, light as in
So,
sunlight?
just to be clear, we're recommending all stucco.
I think so. I think that would be better.
I guess what we're saying is that they could select a lighter color. Doesn't have to be a dark red or a dark brown.
For the
As
stucco?
they showed, that's what they showed in the rendering.
Oh, it should be
It's a
light color.
brownish brick
Right.
and a brownish tone of the stucco.
Oh,
So
I didn't see that.
if we're not using regular clay brick, then they can go with the lighter color stucco.
If they
That
wish
would-
to.
Goes well with
Reflect
the
the light
picture
in the-
windows, yeah?
So
Light, but yes, a lighter color.
options.
We're
options.
recommending this is a little farther than we usually go.
Hmm.
We're recommending the back and side walls in stucco and a light color.
Yeah.
Light color
In a
stucco.
lighter color. I would say it should be one material, such as stucco. At least we're saying why we're picking one
Yeah.
why we're picking.
Right. I mean, I think it's not for us to tell them what the material should be, but I think it is entirely appropriate for us to have concern about
And,
you know,
and Brian, you thought
the
that brick was
resolution
out
of
the
two
question
differing
for the
materials and let them pick.
side? Brian, you thought brick was out of the question for the side for some reason?
That's what the architect suggested.
Oh,
Yeah,
one material, that's it.
yeah.
Well, what are they building this thing out of? Wood?
Well, there's steel in the floors, steel joists.
Anything else?
That was stated clearly.
Well, it is an odd building for what
I
we're
suppose
reviewing.
it's, everything else would be.
It's very squeezed.
I don't know. Sorry?
It's very squeezed, the building.
Yes.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay,
So, yeah.
good night.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Definitely revise the guidelines for the applicants to harp on the subject that if they want to top on a building, they have to build a mock-up. We got pushback about that.
We did? You mean now, after you wrote the letter?
Yeah, Bank Street whined and whined about it.
Oh. Well, it's the only way, anyway.
That's not
It's magic. You don't-
that's like non-negotiable. We have to, that's
Otherwise, renderings are notoriously.
interpretive. All right.
The best thing was I read something about a new building with a rooftop addition.
Well,
Seems like a sort of floating in air idea or something.
well, thank you, Chanel, for all
This
your
is
hard
it.
work.
I'll be away at the next meeting and Susan will
The
preside.
full board or?
Well, I won't be here in person, I don't think. What is the date of the April meeting?
April 10th.
April 10th? Is there April meeting? I have to check. Let me check and get back to you. If it's April 10th,
We'll be sure somebody is all fixed up with Mark about the room.
yeah. Okay, let me just double check the date of the April meeting and then I'll let you know. Okay?
Very good. Thank you all.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Good night.
Let's try to have a more pleasant meeting next time.
All right.
This was pleasant.
Hey, we
just
made
a
it.
lot
Hey,
of
Mark,
talk. Yeah. It's not unpleasant. We just have to speak.
Right.
All
Bye.
right. Good night. I'm going to end the meeting. Good night.